Morning, everyone.
Oren setting a tone like that, what did that mean to you guys and the team as a whole?
Yeah, that was an awesome play out of Orrin. Obviously, the environment was outstanding. A 4:30 game in the Link on a Sunday is outstanding, and to start off a game where we defer and we kick off and being able to steal possession almost off the opening kickoff is awesome. It was awesome hit by Orrin right there. One of the cooler experiences I think I've had as a coach, just to feel that atmosphere. You could hear that hit from the sideline. I'm sure you could hear it in the stadium. So, one of those things that Coach harps on is just being tough and physical, and nothing kind of more stands out than that than an opening kickoff fumble recovery and a heck of a job by Trot. Anything goes at the bottom of the pile to get that ball out.
How does he emphasize that physicality during the course of the season?
Yeah, it starts all the way back in the off-season program and OTAs all the way through training camp. You see us go through our tackle circuit, our takeaway circuit, and it's just a huge emphasis, and it's obviously paid off for us in this latter part of the season. We really just hone in on those fundamentals, getting off block destruction, being good tacklers. So it's not something that you could just wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to be tough. You actually do got to work at it, and it's got to be almost instilled in you from the time you get in the building to the time you get on that practice field to the game.
What can happen at the bottom of a pile like that? Is there a teaching point there that you guys instruct the guys on?
I mean, get the ball any way you possibly can if you're on defense. I don't know if there's really any rules at the bottom of a pile. You probably got to ask the players more than anything else. I know there's a lot of things that does go on at the bottom of a pile, but regardless, the one rule we do teach them is you can't pull anybody off the pile, because that's a 15-yard penalty. So that's one emphasis we can. Huge pile. If you're on the top of it, don't pull anybody off. We don't want to get that 15-yard penalty.
What have you seen? Game, Trotter and Burks rotated at linebacker, and Vic said they both had special teams responsibilities. How do you navigate that when there's a clear need on defense and both guys still have big roles?
Yeah, it's strictly just communication. Between Vic, between Bobby, myself, who's going on, who's going off. Try to keep those guys as fresh as possible, but it's really kudos to the players in here. Like, they're trying to do anything they can to help win this team, whether that's playing defense and having to play a couple roles on special teams. Obviously, you saw Zach Bond make a tackle on punt. Nolan made a tackle on kickoff. You saw Coop in there at the bottom of the pile. These guys are so selfless, and all they want to do is put this team in the right spot to, like Kellen said, advance in this tournament. We're always going to try and put these guys in the best possible way to move forward. So it's all, kudos to the guys in here to being selfless and doing anything they can to help this team progress.
Like that, how early in the week do you start formulating a plan in terms of the snaps and how they break out?
It almost happens organically a little bit. You have you have a plan in your mind on how you want to rotate, but you just never know how. You never know how the game's going to go. At times, we've had to only punt once, and Zach only has one punt play, or you have to kick off a lot. So a lot of it just happens organically, and it's just through the communication. That's the great thing about special teams. When unfortunately, when Nakobe went down, Orrin had to play a lot more defense, so there has to be some substitutions there to help him keep fresh going forward.
Michael, what have you seen from Trot from a standpoint of, I guess, physicality, instincts, football IQ, that kind of thing?
Yeah, instinctually one of the better linebackers instinctually, and he just keeps getting better and better, and he's just a sponge. It's always a bonus when you have teammates like Zach Bond and Orrin Burks, who've played a lot of special teams reps early on in their career, to now they're playing a lot more defensive reps just to absorb all that. Nakobe played a lot of special teams his rookie year. So him just embracing his role, and when his time comes, we'll be rooting him on to play at the highest level on defense. But he's just been a sponge sitting in this room trying to get better. He asks questions, hey, what do I do here? What do we want me to do here? So Trot's been outstanding for us. He's made some plays for us. Big tackle against Atlanta, fumble recovery here and there, big tackle against Washington the first game. So we're going to try and progress Trot to hit his ceiling as he can as a special teams player, and he's doing an outstanding job at that.
Nolan Smith on kickoff and a few others maybe that normally aren't there. Is it just an all hands on deck sort of situation? And what was the process of inserting?
Yeah, to answer your question, it is all hands on deck. Obviously, we know there is no next game if you lose. We're always trying to put our best 11 out there, whether whoever's kicking the ball or whoever's covering. And Nolan, very similar to Trot, very similar to everybody on this team. It doesn't bat an eye when I say, hey, Trot, you're up. Coop, you're up on kickoff this week. They're raring to go. They're into the game plan. they do their job at a high level, and it paid off. You saw Noah made that solo tackle in the middle of the field against Keyshawn at the 29, 30-yard line. So it just helps, and it helps a lot of the guys around that they see starters or guys that play a lot of defense going out there on special teams to help out anyway. You saw in the Washington game and the Dallas game, Reed, who has been starting at safety forever, played PP for us, and without batting an eye, he did an outstanding job. So it's just, again, going back to how selfless this team is and wanting to progress in this tournament.
What made Nolan the choice in particular?
He's done it before. Obviously last year he excelled at that, and especially with this new kickoff format, is no different than him, setting an edge, getting off blocks. And, for him, it's almost like he's going against another tight end or not a premier right tackle. So he's being able to use his athletic ability, his strength to get off and make plays. And he's a tone setter. You see he's got so much energy and guys feed off of it. So it's one of familiarity with having Nolan play a lot of kickoff last year and giving an understanding that it is an advantage to have a guy like that going out there and making plays.
What's the have a variety of kickoffs in that game? First of all, I guess you could just confirm that was by design. And then also, if so, how much of that is pre-planned before you go into the game, and how much is that discussed, what kind of kick he's going to execute?
Yeah, when they come in on Wednesday, especially the special, we try to give them the game plan, what we want accomplished from a kicking standpoint. And going against Keyshawn Nixon, we knew he was very dangerous, so we wanted to at least try to cut off 3/4 of the field. And if he did want to go back to the field, we had enough guys to string it out. You saw Kenny make that big play at the 23-yard line. But that's the talent that these guys have, that they could put the ball in different scenarios, different situations out there to try and help out this team. And Jake did an outstanding job on kickoff. Obviously, Orange sets the tone with that first one, but it takes those other 10 guys. We were scoring at a good clip and going out there knowing how dangerous Keyshawn Nixon was. It took all 10 of the guys to go out there and work in unison. And you saw Tristan and Sidney on the last kickoff that we had to cover get the tackle down at the 22-yard line, and just having that confidence after getting a guy down a few more times to go out there and make a play. So again, it helped out a lot with Jake getting that location, then all the other 10 guys being honed in, working hand in hand.
Michael, after a whole season, how do you feel about this kickoff format? Do you think it'll stay?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know what will happen. I'm sure that's a question for the off season, but it is here now. We got this next game against LA. They've been able to bust a few big returns, so we got to be able to go out there from the coach's standpoint and put these guys in the right situations, right positions to make plays. And we got to go and execute that game plan. But I think it's done, some wonders. There's been some big returns, a couple touchdowns here and there, some tackles inside the 30. So I think it's gone, back and forth in terms of helping the offense and helping the defense.
What stands out about the Rams special teams unit, and any takeaways from that first matchup?
Yeah, Chase has done a really good job with their units. Chase obviously being a former player, they play like Chase was. Very good special teams unit. Jake Hummel, he blocked a punt against Buffalo. Just one of those tough-nosed guys that gets after it. They got two pretty solid gunners in Whittington and Xavier Smith. So we got to be able to make sure, one, we protect both on. I think they have 3 blocked field goals this year in 97. So we got to be honed in on him. Then Hummel obviously blocking one against Buffalo. So it's going to be a tough match. They've been playing really well, especially since the last time we played them. They've had some big returns on KOR, a couple down punts inside the 5. So we got to make sure we help out this team in the field position aspect any way we can. So it's another playoff game. We all know it's going to be an added height in terms of physicality. We got to make sure we're on our details to make sure we help out this team any way we can.
You talked about Nolan. Nick spoke about his intangible characteristics. What are your observations of kind of the parts of him that can't be measured with the combine testing?
Correct. I mean, it's just his energy. You could run 4.2 and not give energy the entirety of your career. He gives energy regardless if it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Obviously, it's infectious on Sunday. And he's in these meetings. He's dialed in. He asks questions. He just wants to help out. I see him up in Coach Wash's room all the time on Fridays after a lighter practice, getting more feedback. What can I get better at? So his intangibles and his wanted to be great is unbelievable, and it just shows, and it helps out those young guys. Jalix is up there now, hanging out, trying to be a sponge as much as he possibly can. So, Nolan's one of those guys that you really are fortunate to be around as a coach.
Thank you.